Getting old.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm good. I left early after AP Calc. Yeah. I have no clue. Forget. I think she wasn't. She wasn't here.
Yeah, please.
Are you okay?
Mike, you'll share.
Okay, we are back from executive session. Action was taken. Onto the public hearing for the district safety plan. Mr. Feldman, your turn. Yes, action was taken.
There it is.
Did
All
you
right,
wanna-
yeah, I said, thank you, Mrs. Battaglia, and I know Mr. Feldman will give the safety plan presentation in a moment, but I just wanted to take the opportunity, knowing where we were yesterday with our lockdown situation and the threats that came into the building, and thank goodness those threats were deemed to be not credible, and but it is an unfortunate circumstance. It's a difficult circumstance for everybody that was involved in that situation. It's very stressful. We understand the impact that it had on our students, faculty, staff, administrators in the district. But when a threat like that comes into the district, the safety and security of our students, faculty, and staff take priority over everything. And we got the calls, the lockdown was put on. We had an immediate response from the Amherst Police Department. And their response also included a lot of other agencies in the building, including, and I'm probably going to miss a couple, but UB Police, the NFTA, ATF, Erie County Sheriff's Department, Orchard Park Police Department was here as well. And the New York State Troopers. And I want to personally thank them for their immediate and wildly appropriate, overwhelming response to what could have been a very, very dangerous situation. Whoever did this, whoever made this call, created a very dangerous situation in our school. And it's, you know, I know we all condemn that act to the highest degree, but I have to commend the work of our first responders, the work of our administrators to keep the situation inside from not turning into chaos, but turning into an incident command center that put a plan together quickly to clear the building and clear the building of a threat. So we appreciate the work of our parents, our faculty, our staff, our administrators, and what they did to work through this situation. hopefully it never happens again. There's always things we can learn as we move forward, and we've done debriefings today. We're going to work with the Amherst Police Department to do more debriefings. But we'll take this as a learning opportunity as well. As with any situation like this, we can always learn more. So again, my thanks go out to all the people that were involved in this yesterday, in this very unfortunate circumstance. Their response was professional, and all people that were involved had the central thought of keeping our students, faculty, and staff safe. So kudos to those, and we prepare for these, but you're never really truly prepared. And yesterday we will move forward and we will learn, and hopefully it never happens again. I want to make that comment. So thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Johnson, can I just ask you a question? Because I've had parents ask me, and maybe for the sake of the audience and people listening, you can answer this. Parents were coming here.
Yep.
And we did not want them coming here because it just kind of compounded the situation. What are your thoughts on, can you just give the public ideas why we don't want that happening?
Yeah, we did send them this, I think the second or third message that went home, asked parents not to come. And, I know their parents and I know their children are in the building, and there's a lot of information being spread or misspread that is out there. But I would hope that they know that our first priority is to keep their children safe. And so coming to the building puts all of us at more of a risk. That's probably falling on a lot of deaf ears, but they put themselves at risk because we didn't know at times if there was an active shooter. And that could have caused mass chaos in our parking lot. It also blocked first responders from entering our facility, which was, and blocked traffic on Sweet Home Road, which is not something that we want to do. And so, as we debrief and go through this, I understand it's a difficult decision to make. But, I can promise every parent that their safety of their children is our number one priority, and we will do everything in our power and duty to keep them safe inside the building and get them back at home.
If you'd like to hit the next slide, Dr. Genestri, so we can start.
There you
So as Dr. Genestri did say, we are at that time of year where we are required to submit to our Board of Education for their consideration our district-wide school safety plan, which is what we'll do tonight. Next slide, please, Mike. The district-wide safety plan is vetted through the District Safety Committee. The members there are listed on the board. It is a gamut of all stakeholders across the district, from administrators, building principals, supervisors, clerical staff, nurses, things along those lines. So we do get a good cross-section of the district from that standpoint. The District Safety Committee met over the course of the 24-25 school year 4 different times. And we have discussed the district safety plan 2 of our last 4 meetings. So per New York State Education Law 2801A and the New York State Commissioners Regulation 155.17, public school districts must adopt both a district-wide school safety plan and a building level emergency response plan for each school building in the district. So what we're talking about specifically this evening is the district-wide safety plan. Following our discussion here tonight, what will happen is we will open the annual public comment period. We will post our redacted district-wide safety plan to our website tomorrow and invite comments for 30 days and then conclude that with the public hearing following that 30-day period. We are required as a school district to have our district-wide school safety plan approved by our Board of Education by September 1st each year. And we would hope that you would approve those plans next month. And then at the district, at the building level emergency response plans are confidential. Those show detailed information about each of our buildings. Those are shared with local responders to work through in times of emergencies. So those are shared with law enforcement agencies on both the town of Amherst and town of Tonawanda side. And those, again, we've submitted those those are updated by the building administrators in each of the buildings in terms of kind of overall staff involved in the emergency teams. The building safety protocols mirror that might be in the district level safety plan. So those plans must be submitted once they're approved by the board to the New York State Education Department by October 1st annually. The district-wide school safety plan is divvied up based upon state education department regs by 5 different sections. Section 1000 is for general considerations. Section 2000 is general emergency response planning. Section 300, responding to threats and active violence. Section 4000, communication with others, and Section 5000, prevention and intervention strategies. New York State Education Department, you can see that the Section 2000 is red. They are recommending some changes to the general emergency response planning that we'll talk with you here about in the next couple of slides. One of the other things too, separate from the district, for the recommendations that the New York State Education Department is asking us to consider for our district-wide safety plan, we are recommending as a safety committee an addition to our appendices. We're asking for an addition, appendix number 7, which is a crisis response plan that was developed and developed by our trauma, never going to get this right, trauma, illness, and grief team in the district as a response to incidents of crises across the district. So Ann Nowak and Katie Barolari, Ann Nowak from our Family Support Center and Katie Barolari, the Director of Special Programs, presented the plan to our safety committee a couple meetings ago, was able to answer any questions that the safety committee had. And we, as a safety committee, are making a recommendation to add this 7th appendix to our overall district-wide school safety plan. So these are the changes that are outlined by a memo from New York State, specifically to our school-wide safety plan. Section 2000, again, general emergency response planning. They are recommending a revision in the shelter-in-place procedure, an addition of a hold-in-place procedure, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the next couple of slides and what that means. And then a rename of what we used to call lockout to a secure lockout. And just for what it's worth, all of our buildings are always in a lockout scenario. All of our outside doors are locked. People cannot gain access to the building without a swipe card or going through a vetting process in the main office. So the shelter in place, the current language in the 24-25 plan, the shelter in place deals with keeping faculty, staff, students in their current or designated location in times where there is either an internal incident or administrative matter, such as, and they outlined fighting in a hallway, or something that is happening outside, a weather event or things along those lines. What State Ed is recommending to do is that we split the shelter in place to a shelter in place scenario where shelter in place is used when students and staff are required to remain in their current or designated location for their own safety due to an external threat. So it's just specific to external threats, such as a weather emergency. On the next slide, Dr. Jester, if you would, the hold-in-place procedures is new language that we would use this year in the 25-26 school year, is to mitigate movement within a building when students and staff are required to remain in their current or designated location due to some sort of a short-term emergency that's happening in the building, a medical incident, a fight, et cetera. So they are recommending that we just change the procedures from the events that would precipitate a shelter in place are not the same from 24-25 to 25-26. That shelter in place is external, hold in place is internal to mitigate movement. So the district-wide, so that, from that standpoint, and then the last piece of it is, Dr. Jensen, if you wouldn't mind just going back, oh, never mind. I must have missed. Just the other piece of it is too, sorry, is the rename of the lockout to secure lockout position, which is in section 200 as well. We talked a little bit about that before.
Yeah. I think-
Okay,
Okay.
sorry. Go back one more
There we
slide. So this is the recommendation from the district-wide safety team to add a crisis response plan to our district-wide school safety plan. Our TIG team, our trauma, illness, and grief team that's led by Katie Barolari in the Office of Special Programs and Ann Nowak in our Family Support Center, along with the help of a number of other counselors and social workers across the district. They did draft this plan that really is kind of a roadmap that provides strategies for addressing crises within the district. It gives suggestions about how to respond to a crisis for a student that might be in crisis and things along those lines, that might be dealing with pain or some sort of emotional trigger from something that maybe either happened at home or from a school and community related event. So these are the procedures that the TIG team is recommending that we institute as part of our safety-wide plan, that in an instance where a crisis does happen, that this would be the guideline to address the situation. So from that standpoint, those are the recommended changes that we are making to our district-wide safety plan, or to you for your consideration, obviously. We will next open up and post our district-wide redacted safety plan onto our website with Ms. Slagle's help tomorrow. She doesn't know that, but we haven't talked about it, but it's going to happen tomorrow. And then we would welcome comments to me about that plan, and we would come back to present those findings to you in June, along with the public hearing at that point in time. And then hopefully following that, the board would support those changes. They would vote, you would vote on it, and then we would be ready to go for the 25-26 school year. This is the one of the other things that has come of this, obviously, with the change in procedures to shelter in place, the new hold in place procedures, and then the change from lockout to secure lockout. This is the shell vernacular that we've used in terms of our overall safety plans at the last several years through the guidance of state ed. These placards are in every room, in every district building. So we will go through the processes of getting those reprinted and laminated and placed in buildings and classrooms over the summer so that we are ready to go for the start of school in September. With that, I would open it up to any questions of the board. Otherwise, we will begin tomorrow our 30-day comment period on the district-wide safety plan, redacted safety plan. You have in your packets, you do have the district-wide redacted safety plan along with the crisis response plan and the placard that we showed here tonight. Okay, we will make the posting beginning tomorrow for 30 days, and then we'll see you in June to wrap up the district-wide safety plan process. Thank you.
Okay, so we move to the approval of the agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda from last month's meeting or from this month's meeting?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes of the previous meeting. May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from last month's meetings?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Communications. Does anyone have any communications to share? We do have one letter from Dave Lowry. No
I
communication.
think fortunately or unfortunately, my PTA meeting was canceled last night. I'm sure they enjoyed the night out in the sun. So I have no report for the Heritage Heights PTA.
Okay. Okay, unfinished business, we have none. Dr. Genestri?
Thank you, Mrs. Battaglia. Just a couple updates from last week. We are 1 week away from our budget vote day, so we encourage everybody to come out and join us May 20th here in Virgil's Center is where the voting will take place, not only for the school budget and our board candidates, but also for our logo contest and competition, and which we're really excited about as well. But that's going to be a day where we celebrate all things Sweet Home. We have our board vote, budget election vote, obviously our Panther logo vote. There will be a district art show here in the Virgil Center Library for all of us to see. The elementary track meet beginning at 9:45 on the high school track. The chef will do their chicken barbecue dessert sale from 4 to 7 here in Virgil's. And of course, there's a high school orchestra's concert at 7:30 in the Odd. So big day of events. Hopefully the weather holds out for everybody. And we hope to see our entire school community here on May 20th, 1 week from tonight.
Dr. Genestri, if I might just,
Yep.
the chef dessert sale, because everybody loves goodies, it'll be going on all day, 7 a.m.
Oh,
to 7 p.m.
perfect.
So when you come and get your chickens, obviously you can get your desserts, but you can also get desserts. What I like to get them first thing in the morning.
I know everybody in district office will be happy that it is an all-day event for the dessert sale, for sure. And good luck to our 4 candidates running for 2 seats, Brian Leibel, Jonathan Makeley, Alan Plath, and Dirk Rabenhold. Just again, want to say good luck to them. I know everybody got to meet them last week at Meet the Candidates Night, but from all of us at district office, just want to say good luck as the week wraps up. Our voters will be allowed to vote for our Panther contest as well, which has been featured in Sweet Home Source. And I know there's a postcard going home with all the events of the day to remind people to vote as well. These are our 10 finalists. This is open to vote for anyone in our community. You do not have to be 18 years old, just a student, faculty member, staff member, community member, voter. Anyone that lives in Sweet Home is allowed to attend and vote, and we look forward to announcing the winner on the next day, on that Wednesday. Yeah, and part of that yesterday, our 10 finalists went to 26 Shirts for a tour of the building, as well as a talk by Del Reed and Josh, and I feel bad because I forgot his last name. The creative director over there just gave an amazing talk to our students about the career of being an artist and the careers that are available to artists out there, and that art is everywhere we see it, and that you can be very successful in the field of art. And so he started off as a illustrator, and now he's a graphic designer. He's done over 500 shirts for 26 Shirts. And our kids got not only a tour, a great talk by Josh and Del, but they also got goodie bags. They got pizza, and it was just a great day to spend as kind of a recognition of what they've done for Sweet Home, but also, just a great learning experience for our students, and to know that this contest was really student driven. They were excited to be a part of it. They've been amazing partners throughout the entire process, and just can't thank 26 Shirts enough for their partnership with Sweet Home. Also remind the board that our Challenge to Change event is May 30th. Dr. Wilson, I don't know if you want to just give a quick preview, but.
exciting coming up. Everything's going to be centered around those superpowers around building kindness and belonging, where everybody can be connected. So we'll have a number of students leading the day, as well as a Sweet Home grad coming back, and so it'll be a great day. Plus, we can promise the best chicken fingers you've probably had in a long time.
Hope to see everybody there. Just a quick reminder, I know I keep harping this home, but it is a change to the schedule that we will be closed, the district will be closed on Friday, May 23rd, as part of our new provision in our teacher's contract, allowing us to extend the Memorial Day holiday if 3 or more emergency days remain by April 30th. So I'll send another reminder out to families next week, but we will be closed Friday, May 23rd, as well as Monday, May 26th, to celebrate the Memorial Day weekend. That's what I have this week. Questions?
Just one question on the Challenge for Change. I know we get invited, and some other committee members. Do we ever invite community members outside of the district, like, as a possibility, 2 or 3, just because if we did that, I'm thinking, it would give the community a chance to see what some of these events are about, and who may be interested. I'm not saying that we'd invite, open it up to everybody, but maybe there'd be a process if you're at least interested.
I know our DEI committee is with community members on there. Everyone on that is invited.
Yeah, that's nearly 50 folks, and it branches across a number of community organizations, but we can always look at how we rotate through and engage other organizations. So if you have any ideas.
Yeah, I just know sometimes people are maybe confused or misunderstand what some of these events are about, and saying, why don't you attend? And it give you an opportunity to see that maybe some of their thoughts or ideas aren't always aligned with what's actually happening at these events, that they're sometimes, a misunderstanding within the community. And I think it's an opportunity to kind of showcase a lot of the value they bring to our kids.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Okay. Upcoming events, we are in the midst of our music season for all of our concerts, all the different bands, orchestras, choruses, and such. Wrapping up the end of the year with our leadership days coming up and senior walkthrough, all of the end of the year activities as well. This brings us to our open session per Board Policy 1510. This open session is for topics related to tonight's agenda. Is anyone interested in speaking?
Part of you.
Sure.
This is on, right?
Mm-hmm.
My name is Peter Hoysick. I live on Millwood Drive in the town of Tonawanda. Probably going to talk to that camera because you people won't answer any of my questions. So anybody that's actually on the board now, other than Dirk Rabenel, that's only been here less than a year, that won't answer my questions, vote them out. Let's talk more specifics. Anyone that's on the board currently running for reelection, when you vote for them, if you vote for them, and I'm recommending you don't, that's talking to you people, they have implemented and approved the full range of woke DEI policies on the students and residents of this district. And they've followed all the green mandates the New York State's governor is imposing wrongly on school districts. Nobody says anything when the superintendent lies to you about how much it costs for the charging infrastructure for these electronic buses. I attended the last meeting. Nobody said anything about buying more electric buses. I thought we were talking about the budget, but nothing. This new copy, the Sweet Home Source, says they're buying 6 more. If anybody has anything to say about that, now's the time, because You seem to be keeping this a big secret from the residents. This is the second year in a row that I've come here before a budget vote to find out that you're buying electric buses and there's no plan to get infrastructure charging for them, and it's going to cost millions of dollars. And nobody's told any of the residents about any of this. Here's your opportunity to do it. If you don't vote for them. I don't know, can we talk to the residents? I'm assuming somebody's going to see this, maybe not. I got this in the mail from Brian, is that Label? I don't want to
Label.
mispronounce it. This is useless. And I got this, it's a letter. Also basically says nothing. This letter doesn't justify you being reelected. I'm sorry. You've basically done everything that I've said here tonight. As far as the other candidates go, I actually met Dirk last year during the Board of Budget vote. He was the only person that was running for the board that had the guts to admit that he wasn't woke. Give the guy some credit. He hasn't even been in here for a year. Jonathan, I'm sorry, I like you, but you were the only one who had the guts to admit that you were woke. I actually came before this board and asked everyone on this board to raise their hands if they were woke. No one did it. And then I asked you if you could raise your hands if you weren't woke, and no one did it. These people won't respond to you. You got to start voting these people out. Get rid of them. Alan Plath, I don't know him. I don't know if you ran last year. Does anybody know? All right, I guess that's it for now.
Thank you for your
Thanks.
comments. Anybody else? Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name's Amanda Jones and my address is 60 Kmart, Amherst. I just would like to express my thanks to the students, teachers, staff, and administration on how they handled yesterday's lockdown. No doubt it was a trying experience for everyone. I would also like to express my concerns on the communication provided to parents during the situation. Just in summary, at 12:49, Mr. Baker sent an email announcing a lockdown in coordination with Amherst Police. 25 minutes later, at 1:14, Mr. Baker sent an update announcing APD was conducting a search, but students were safe and accounted for. Almost 2 hours later, the next communication came at 2:54 as a 4-paragraph email from Dr. Genestri explaining the events of the afternoon. I realize that the events of the day were extraordinarily difficult and not one that has been encountered in the past, but waiting almost until 3 p.m. to provide an update, in my opinion, was completely unacceptable. A 1 to 2 sentence email would have sufficed to let us know that the situation had been downgraded to a shelter in place. At no point was that communicated before the 2:54 email. No one communicated that children had been dismissed and that no students were on property. In my opinion, when you hold that update that long, it gives the impression that a public statement is prioritized over prompt communication. This was further reinforced when my son and I got updates from the music department and athletics department prior to anything from the principal or the district. So I would respectfully ask, and it sounds like this has already been discussed, would ask the district and the high school to evaluate what happened on Monday and problem solve the issues where the ball was dropped and improve for the future. The other piece that I wanted to bring up is that I've been in direct communication with a parent whose student left the school prior to the incident without early dismissal, without permission, and was home when that event happened. And when the school states that all students are accounted for, that leads to questions on how are we accounting for the students? Was attendance taken? If that student was supposed to be in class and was missing, how can we claim that all the students were accounted for? So I wanted to raise that concern because it's not just about communication. It's down to how we're tracking where the students are and whether they've been accounted for. So thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anybody else? Okay, moving on. That brings us to new business. May I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda on items A through F?
So moved. Second.
Okay, letter A is special ed.
Read through everything. Again, kudos to all our support staff and special ed department for all they do for work for our kids. Lots of end of year evaluations, still kids moving into the district even at this late date and time. So kudos to them.
Okay, monthly financial reports. Our bids on health and medical supplies, our athletic and physical ed supplies. D is the disposal of obsolete property. E is the municipal cooperation agreement. The first one, and F is the second one. Anybody have any comments or questions? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
That brings us. Mr. Lible is excused from the vote. He will be back in a few minutes. Brings us to informational items. Maisha, would you like to start?
Student government is currently wrapping up with our end of the year activities. There will be a continuation of our final farewells, just as last year, with our peer mentoring program where students can write out advice and thank you cards to other grade levels. And our senior English classes will be participating in a Leader in Me activity where they can give advice to the middle schoolers that are transitioning into the high school. And looking ahead, student government plans to make a big collage with pictures and messages of the 2024-25 school year in the main foyer. Mercy Flight will be coming to the high school tomorrow, and the annual Stars Breakfast will be on the 20th. And lastly, in regards to what happened yesterday, I think the students did really well understanding the importance of staying collected, especially in the time that was super stressful, and looking out for each other. But on behalf of the students and probably the parents, even though I believe how the cell phone policy isn't fully established yet and how that would like take place in the high school. And I think that the students would really appreciate to be able to get access and like easy accessibility to their phones in the case of these unwanted situations, even though I understand like how misspread and more chaos could be brought up. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Maisha.
I also have to commend the students, for their actions yesterday. I know part of it was that they had to leave, backpacks behind, and we didn't have one issue with that. The way they, handled instructions and, was just absolutely awesome and, very proud moment for me and the rest of the administration and the police department that commented about how calm and how orderly and how they followed instructions. So kudos to all of our students in the high school.
Yeah, and I know that faculty also asked students for their advice and rooms for improvement. So thank you for that.
Yep.
Thank you. Marianne?
Busy with work, so the one thing I did attend that I really enjoyed was the meat raffle. Where else can we hear Mr. Feldman discuss the difference between a breakfast ham and why there isn't a lunch ham? I think that was the discussion, but lots of fun there. Made, what was it, 5,500?
Yep, $5,500 in
For
support of,
scholarships,
Sweet Home
excellent. Mr. Johnson won the 250 for the Wegmans. It was just a great evening for all, and look forward to our December 5th
Correct.
one. Thank you.
Counting the days.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Couple things. This month, we had the District Safety Committee where we finished up on those items. That was good. I had an alumni association meeting last week. We are working on our scholarships and we also approve some or go through some of the other ones and review those too for some of the people that don't want to review the ones that they've just submitted. So we're working on that process right now. We also had a board meeting for the Sweet Home Education Foundation on that, and we started talking about where we're at financially and some changes with some of the cuts from the federal government. The Western New York Food Bank is not being able to get as much stuff, so they're putting more money into it right out of the funds that we have from Chef right now to be able to continue the every other week program we've got. It's more than 70 families right now that we're distributing food to. Sorry. Trying to find out when I also had this past Friday, the Wall of Fame ceremony, the Distinguished Members Wall of Fame. It's out by the front office. If you don't get a chance, if you're ever down that way, it was great. And I'm sorry, I do not remember the names. I thought I had them written down and I don't, but we had three great. Do you have them, Mr. Feldman?
Give me 1 second. I'll find them for you.
I'm thinking Dr. Flash,
Sandy
Taylor, and I forgot the other gentleman's name.
So we have Dr. Sandra Flash, 1986, class of 1987. She's the Associate Vice Provost of Academic Affairs at UB. Dr. Michael Scharf, class of 1989. He's a current psychiatrist in chief at Golisano's Children's Hospital in Rochester. And then Lindsay Taylor, graduate of the class of 2006. Lindsay currently serves as the Director of Development for the Police Athletic League of Buffalo.
Among other things, he had.
Among many other things.
He had a long list of things he's doing, and
Yes.
he's actually started working with the kids at Sweet Home. One of the groups that he works with donated a bunch of equipment for the mass media classes for me to be able to do more stuff too. So there was three great candidates. They all had nice things to say too, as I was very well worth the time. And that's it for now.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Ravenhood?
Did you say my name? I'm sorry, couldn't hear you.
Yep.
I had reported earlier about the Heritage Heights PTA. I was kind of looking forward to that, but I understand the circumstances and why they didn't. So we did enjoy a little bit of sunshine and some backyard activities instead. I didn't had participated in a lot of activities. I traveled a little bit. So I don't have a lot reported. Did receive this onboard publication on this Title IX article. If you didn't read it, you ought to read it. It maybe goes back to where I was kind of questioning how to vote on it. Because there's several twists in it because of the reversion back to the 2020 amendments or whatever. So it's an interesting article. But other than that, I have no. So, oh, yeah, I should say this. I again, my response and my view of what happened yesterday, and the public's response and our first responders, I don't know where you'd see that anywhere else. That was quite spectacular. I think from what I heard, the teachers did a tremendous job with the students and getting them in place in our administration. I don't know if I would, as an administrator, be walking the halls, but I guess they felt necessary, and God bless them for stepping forward and doing that to protect their kids. So again, thank you all. That's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. Anthem?
So this month we had a cell phone committee task force meeting, which should be very interesting to revisit that next month after yesterday. Glendale has their leadership day on Friday, PTA meeting on Thursday. That's pretty much all that I've got for this month. But I just did want to say thank you to all of our law enforcement who was able to assist yesterday and keep everybody calm. Our teachers did a fantastic job. Administration did a great job. For anyone who's listening, if parents, if your kids are struggling with what happened and they need to talk to someone, I would encourage them to do so. The resources are available at the buildings for them to talk to someone. Parents as well, I'm sure. I know everybody was pretty rattled. As a teacher, a former teacher myself, I've been in situations like that before, and it is pretty terrifying. And it leaves you shaking for a few days at least afterwards. So if you need to talk to someone, don't sit on it. Go have the conversation and get the help. There's people out there that are willing to listen.
Anything else? Okay, Mr. Valenti?
Amongst the numerous sporting events, I did have a Willow Ridge PTA meeting at the end of April. They had a multicultural night in March and a science night and book fair in April that were very, very successful. They celebrated Teacher Appreciation Week last week. For the teachers, their leadership day is May 22nd. I know we have a lot of them coming up, along with Challenge for Change and the Stars Breakfast and some senior events. So I'm going to be a little widespread to attend some of these, which is unfortunate, but I'm going to do my best to get to as many as I can. And then I believe Willow Ridge is up for lighthouse reevaluation or recertification or
Recertification.
recertification. So the school's preparing for that. There are a lot of things into that I too many to get into for what they're doing for that. But they are preparing for it and they're getting ready for it. So that's it.
Okay. I attended the high school PTSA meeting last week. They talked about their brick sale that is coming or ongoing. The benches that they purchased for out by the flagpole and the laid brick that we already have. And they're working on their scholarships as well. Other than that, I don't have anything else. This brings us to our next open session. Would anyone like to address the board? We have 3 minutes. Please state your name, address, and relationship to Sweet Home. The mic is yours, sir.
My name is Peter Hoysick. I live on Millwood Drive in Tonawanda. It's not the first time I've come up here and speak to this board about asking them to fire the superintendent Genestri. In the past, in 2024, May 14th, August 20th, December 17th, last voting meeting, and tonight, I've asked and detailed why I think this should happen. It hasn't happened. Eventually, you people are going to be held responsible for this. If anybody wants to look at those meetings and see the reasons in the past why I've expressed this needs to be done, I gave you the dates, look it up. They got these meetings, videos posted online. Now we got a new incident of a lockdown. Every time I come here, something else bad happens. You're going to have to take responsibility eventually for all this, and they're going to have to get rid of you. I don't know how you lasted this long. Just to add more issues to explain why you shouldn't be the superintendent anymore, you sent me email about some subjects that led us to a discussion in email about non-citizen voting. And first I want to say that this pamphlet that went out to the voters says you're going to allow people to vote based on a utility bill to prove residence. Give me a break. Our conversation in email had to do with whether you could document they were non-citizens. You basically, superintendent, blamed it all on the Board of Elections and said their wonderful database was going to keep non-citizens from voting. So I responded to you, and you won't respond to me back. Why are you not comparing the list of non-citizens in the Sweet Home School District against the list from the Board of Elections and telling them who are non-citizens so they could compare the two databases? You won't respond to me. Again, here's your opportunity. I'm assuming you're not going to say nothing. You're just going to sit there dumbfounded or whatever it is you call it. Again, and just another reason that you are not responsive to the residents. You need to be fired. I can't believe that none of you people want to get rid of this guy. If that's not bad enough, as I mentioned earlier when I was up here at the podium, 6 more electronic buses. Last meeting, when you voted to approve the budget that's going to be voted on by the residents, you said nothing about buying 6 new buses, let alone you didn't say anything about, I think it was last time I talked about this, it was $20 million for charging infrastructure that doesn't exist in New York State. Have you ever told the residents that? No. $5 million you raised the budget since last year. Have you explained that to people? No. Yep. I don't know how you have a job anywhere, let alone in a school district. It's just ridiculous to me. If I ran my work section like you run this school district, I would have been fired a long time ago. Let's see, what else we got here?
That your
Time
time
is
has
up.
been expired, sir.
Sure.
Thank you for your
Thanks.
comments. Anybody else? Okay. May I have a motion and a second on personnel items 1 and 2, teaching and administrative and service?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That brings us to the end of the meeting. May I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a great night. Thanks for coming.